Lovely. And welcome everybody. And what I'm also going to do, as always, is I'm going to share that on your timeline, Stacey, so that anyone who wishes to join us from there is actually notified. Our Facebook is actually running pretty fast today, which is cool. And there you are. And there you are. Oh, in duplicate. Let's find that. I just have to find the other window that it's running on, because what happens is the sound comes out in many places. Okay, so that's fine. Cool. I think we are there. There's lots of little techie bits just to get it all recorded. So yeah, welcome everybody to our little chit chat fortnightly. Today we are going to be connecting and talking with and chatting about angels and other beings that are just beautiful. And just some experiences maybe that we've had. And also another really exciting thing is if you are joining us live and you would like an angel reading, then we're up for that too. So welcome, whether you're live or on replay. And what I thought would be really lovely is to actually, hi Joyce, is to do a lovely connection. So to actually take us up into the space so that we are truly connected through source energy to the angels. And then, you know, there's no ambiguity as to who we're speaking with, which is always useful. Would you like to lead that, Stacey, or would you like me to do that?
You are fantastic about it. So why don't you lead this one?
Okie dokie, no problem at all. So if you are watching on the replay, just get yourself nice and comfortable. And also if you are live, this is going to be fast. We're not going to deliberate a lot. We're just going to get us into connection. So close your eyes. If your feet are not on the floor, get them near the floor, ideally. And just imagine beautiful energy just swirling in your heart space initially. So really connect and be aware of the heart space. All our intentions, all that love always starts from the heart space. So that's where we always begin. And from that space, I'd like you to imagine the energy dropping down your body into the soles of your feet and straight down into the center of the earth. All the way through. And then from the center of the earth, pulling the energy of the center of the earth up through the earth layers, through the soles of your feet, up through the whole of your body. And we're going to have it go all the way up to the top of your head. And then just imagine a beautiful bubble just above your head. And you're going to imagine yourself in the bubble. And that bubble now is holding you safe and sound with beautiful, loving energy and carrying you higher and higher out of the space above your head, up out of the room or the space that you're in, through the sky, through outer space, past the whole universe. Imagine that if you could get through the whole universe, how that would be. Would you fold it? Would you bend it? Would you go through it? Would you take a wormhole through the whole of the universe? And then past the universe, straight up, higher and higher through layers and layers and layers of light. Dark and light, dark and light, dark and light. This is the Anscester realm. So any spirit guides that you may speak to often come through this space. Going higher and higher and higher through the golden mist. The golden mist is the soul's home, and it's in this space that we will connect to the archangels and the ascended masters. So these are masters that have been through ascension and enlightenment to higher and higher spaces. We're going to go through this higher and higher and through a jelly-like substance with all of the colors of the rainbow. And going through this area quite quickly because it's pretty dense. So straight through, higher and higher and higher, until you get to a lovely pink mist. And this pink mist is the law of compassion. It's so beautiful. This is that nurturing energy that you've always yearned for, that enveloping energy, like snuggling yourself up in a big, huge duvet when it's really cold outside, feeling cozy, warm, and safe. You can allow that beautiful pink mist into your bubble if you would like. And we're going to carry on even higher. And we're going to go through and head for this beautiful white, snow white area. It's a beautiful, clean essence, full of sparkles. It's light and has essence at the same time. And allow yourself to go further and further and further into this space. This is the creator of all that is, the area of unconditional love. And as you go deeper and deeper and deeper, you become connected with all that is. So just allow yourself a few moments just to stay in that space. And actually, when you're ready, you can open your eyes, because we're going to leave you connected in that space, still connected to the earth, still connected to your body, but bypassing any duality or other things that go on. So you're in that pure space of potentiality. So welcome to seventh plane. And in the modality which Stacey and I instruct and work with a lot, theta healing, this space is where you can actually connect to all the other spaces through the cleanest energy without any interference from like other energies going on. So maybe the collective consciousness, maybe judgment and duality, opinions from those beings. So you're getting the clearest answers and the most loving answers. So from here, we're going to actually drop, or at least take our consciousness through the seventh plane down into that golden mist. So just imagine that. Imagine that you are now in this beautiful golden mist. And this is the area where the angels, archangels, ascended masters, higher beings, and the soul, your soul essence, lives in this place. And it's got lots and lots and lots of layers of it, lots of levels. So depending on how much enlightenment, how much ascension is where you connect. So Stacey, which angels are coming through for you?
Archangel Michael comes in really clearly when I do these.
Yes. Yeah. He's kind of like that space holder, isn't he? He's like the, yeah.
I'm also getting you sort of a wayshower, which is really interesting, that when we're called to do this work, whatever aspect of work you're called to do, you're often the wayshower for someone. You know, we are both student and teacher at the same time. So, and that makes perfect sense when you're existing in the world and you're really tuning into your higher purpose. So that is wonderful.
Beautiful, beautiful. So I've been getting a lot of Archangel Michael, no, not Michael, sorry, Daniel coming in. And, you know, originally he's the Archangel of marriage, but essentially committed relationships. And there is a theme, I feel, at the moment, just around the world, on reconnection and the importance of committed relationships, not just from a romantic perspective, but from every perspective. So when you connect with someone, how open, authentic, kind, and real are you being? And this is what Archangel Daniel really assists with. So I don't know who needs to hear this, but if there's anybody who is sort of navigating any difficulties in any relationship, would you like to accept a healing from Archangel Daniel to actually assist you in being more open and connecting with more love than maybe you were before? So as with all of these, anything that comes through, we work with the law of free agency. So it comes through when you say yes and you accept and give permission for that.
Mm-hmm. There's actually a crowd of people around right now, which is kind of what I was tapping into earlier today when I was thinking about this. And it's, although we say angel reads, there's other beings that can pop in and out too,
Cool.
which is really awesome. Like totems is really cool. Spirit animals, like dragon really pops up for me a lot.
So I'm interested to get your feel. Dragons, are they residing in this golden mist space for you? Where do they reside?
Yeah, I get that they reside there. I mean, it's sort of sometimes it comes up as a totem, and really the dragon for me is courage and strength, which is really perseverance. Although with all of this, call in balance and use discernment, like,
yeah, of course,
balanced discernment is a wonderful thing.
So interesting, because for me the dragon has the energy of fifth plane, but it's almost like other dimensional. So
Right,
like, yeah, so yeah,
it's pretty funny. My mind works in like cartoons and stuff, so I'm looking at Mushu on somebody's shoulder right now.
oh, so cool.
So
Awesome. And I would like to know what you mean by totem, because I kind of get the idea, but it's not I actually don't work with totem very often. So what do you mean?
So totems being like Indian totems often comes up in certain areas, especially when I was in South Dakota. That was a really much really prevalent Indian place where I was like, oh yeah, there's Sitting Bull over there. Of course, I'd walk around town and there's statues of Indians and stuff like that.
Oh, cool. So any particular one that's coming through that would like to bring us in some energy?
It's like the bird and the buffalo.
Mm.
There's a lot of way showing here.
Yeah, there's some paths opening for sure.
So specifically, it's that there's like this whole energy of keeping the faith, keeping your thoughts, feelings, and desires in the direction you want to go. The buffaloes said they're like, I don't do backwards very well.
I also getting I'm getting the connection, but with the action, because the buffalo is such a grounded totem. It's like, it's always freaking heavy, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Very, very like, you cannot miss me. And when it moves, it moves. It's like nothing gets in its way. So really, yeah, very much an energy of committed action, of strong actions.
Mm.
Mm. And it's interesting that you've got the bird alongside it. It's like those two totems come up, because I don't know what that means for you, but the bird, when I think of the bird, it's the fast change of direction.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, it float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. That's what's coming into my mind right now. It's like,
Yeah, that sort of thing. So staying grounded in purpose, staying grounded in yourself, but allow adaptability, fast change to get you into the direction that you're meant to go, because it's not always a straight line, because the buffaloes are just going to go like hell for leather. But then there's a lot of knocking down of obstacles along the way, which is great and can be, you know, a little bit like banging, you know.
yeah, I would say so.
Mm.
Again, you know, this is probably for all of us here, is like, remember to call in ease into all of what you do.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Who
So
else
Joyce
is here?
saying she thinks she's calm and doesn't get in her way, and she's the bird on the back of the buffalo. Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So also, you know, that really sounds like ride the wave.
Yeah, exactly. It's,
Mm.
if one fights the tide, you don't get anywhere very fast.
Mm.
If
So,
if
yeah, sorry, Karen.
if you go with the tide, you know, in or out, you're gonna go with it, and it's gonna be a lot easier.
Mm.
So,
And Klinos, I know I've got a lady on here who's asking about some message and guidance. Klinos, I feel this is for you. Because this came up as soon as you asked for some upper realm guidance. So I would love to know how and if that resonates for you. Yeah. And Joyce is here. Joyce, would you like us to tune in for a message specifically for you?
and anything that you'd want to look at specifically around a situation, or just spin the wheel, see what you get.
Yeah. Yeah, essentially. Yeah. So Joyce is saying going with the flow downstream. Yeah. And there's this beautiful analogy which we talk about when we talk about manifesting and that kind of thing, in that often we are in that canoe and we're just rowing, and you kind of get the rapids, you know, and you're trying to maneuver the rapids and go over the rocks, and like a lot of effort. You may get to where you're going. You may equally just go straight down a waterfall and wipe out, or you might just get constantly pushed back, and you think that your destination is on the other side of that river. And yet when you relax, let go, let the canoe turn and allow the rapids to carry you without any effort, eventually you find that actually the destination you were seeking is way over the other side, where you are being pulled towards.
Yeah, the only thing that is even close to effort is the intent.
Yes, and it's very different, isn't it?
Yes, the intent is very different than efforting. If you're efforting, it's very much swimming upstream.
And actually I was like scrolling on Facebook this morning, and there's quite a few posts recently that I've noticed, just a few today, that I sort of like, oh, this like matches the energy of what we're doing perfectly, is talking about not staying constantly in manifesting, in upper realms, in meditative state, and actually actioning. And it was really interesting to notice that there is this, I've got you, Joyce, don't worry. There is this imagined thing of either you are connected and being guided and in the space of, you know, enlightenment, spirituality, whatever you want to call it, you know, or your boots on the ground and you are focused on the practical things and moving and actions accordingly. And I think they've missed a trick, because you can actually be boots on the ground, moving forwards while being connected and actually being guided through, like you were saying, like intention. And things need to happen on the material plane for them to be brought into the material plane. So it's like, you know, you ask it with Esther Hicks and the law of attraction, that sort of thing. They would say, ask and you shall receive. So let's say you've been asking, so I want some money, I'd like cash, and you get an envelope through the mail that's got a check in it. You actually have to open the envelope and cash the check. And that's your action. So it may not be a big action, but there is some kind of action going on.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes the action is no action, no physical action. Like, it's like in society, in today's society, what we're really taught to do is to go and get the thing. Go and get the thing, go and do the thing. Well, sometimes you just need to let it come in. Yeah.
And do you not feel though that so I totally 100% agree with you, but there's also that laying the groundwork for it. So, you know, like, you know, this is just a service, a chat to everybody. Through this, our energy goes out, the energy of the ascended masters goes out, the energy of angels goes out, and everyone tuning into this doesn't actually have to do anything, just be and receive.
Yeah, it's really powerful when you can really sit in that. You know, I will say it's sometimes the human mind wants to really go and do the thing when and the human mind can be very impulsive and very like, oh wait, I have to grab the thing. Well, no, maybe that specific thing wasn't.
Yes, exactly. There's a lovely little saying, let it be easy. I love that.
Yeah.
Just let it be easy. So we've got Joyce would like to know if her parents are close by. So would you like to tune into that, Stacey? And while Stacey's doing that, usually parents, when they're that close, they're sitting in fourth plane, which was the layers of light that we connected to. So they often haven't yet ascended into fifth, although they may have done, depending on where they were before they came to that incarnation.
So I'm going to let you go first, because I've actually, I know Joyce personally, so go ahead.
Okay. So actually, as I was saying that, and I was explaining where they are, I'm actually getting that they're on the cusp between fourth and fifth. They're actually pretty much in that fifth plane space. I don't know what your parents were like, but the teachings and the learnings that they brought into this life were actually quite, they were contracted learnings, if that makes sense. So I don't know if you've heard of the story, the little soul and the sun, where two souls are in fifth plane. And I'm going to tell this story because it will get you to understand what I mean by contracted learning. Souls have a soul family. Yeah. And up in fifth plane, before souls are incarnated in their soul group, they're often, you know, chit-chatting together. Souls are really joyous. They actually don't need anything. You know, they are perfect as they are. but what they would like is to have a human experience, and just to experience what the virtues that they already maybe have feel like and are on a physical plane in a body. It's like fun for them. It's like entertainment, you know. And often two souls will get together and one will say, you know what, I really fancy experiencing, let's say, for example, forgiveness. I really want to experience what forgiveness feels like as in a human body, in a physical body. And so the souls, another soul say, oh yeah, I'll help you do that. That's no problem. Yeah, happy to do that. And they both incarnate. And sometimes, depending on how that soul's chosen to experience, or the contract comes through, it can experience it in a nice way, or it experience it in a more difficult way. And this is what I feel that your parents, Joyce, were here to do. They were here to teach the people that they came in contact with different virtues. Now, they've ascended enough that I'm not picking up as many of their humanly qualities, but I'm getting their higher intention. And I feel what I'm getting is that they have completed many of their contracts. It's not just only one contract. They've completed many of their contracts. And it won't be long before they're back again. And they may not be back as parents. They may be back in different spaces, but you're still in the same soul group, soul family. So you might actually meet them again.
Yeah, somebody remind you of them.
Yes, someone will remind you of them. Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Yeah, it's when I'm picking up in life that your father was very gruff, but very hardworking and also very loving. He wasn't quite exactly sure how to show it in some ways. Like it's a little bit of a connection point. It's kind of like they missed a little bit. It's like there was a little bit of a disconnect there.
So Joyce is asking grandchildren. I just want to answer that. Yes, often the energy comes through. Sorry, continue, Stacey.
Yeah, so it's like what he means, the higher learning, the higher teaching, and the way he said it in life was often very different.
Yeah.
And you know, as much as they loved each other, because they are around, they are standing side by side, and as much as they kind of had an ebb and flow in their relationship, maybe some that may be like bickering or on small little things here and there, but it was very much a very loving relationship as far as they really cared about each other. They really cared about the things that they built, and they may not have shown it 100% in all times, but they really cared about you and your family. And what they're both saying right now is there's no room for sadness. There's no room for sadness. Just when there are periods of sadness, we're right behind you, which is really fantastic.
Oh, that's gorgeous. Gorgeous. Yeah. So Joy's saying, yes, they taught us very well. And really wonderful to sort of to look back at what virtues were actually being brought through. So Stacey touched on perseverance, and a work ethic, but not a grind, is what I'm getting. So yeah. And
I'm a big fan of Steve Jobs. This is a connection that I make. His father said that you need to paint the one side of the fence exactly like the other side of the fence. Don't skimp on the side that nobody sees. So
Yes, that's
it's
cool.
that kind of like, make what you're going to make in this world very solid, very worthwhile.
Mm.
Really, I just want to add in there, don't forget to have fun.
Yeah, 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 totally. And for me, what that sort of sounds like, the Steve Jobs analogy, is the inner work that we do, all of this, everything, like you're listening to this now, this is not necessarily teaching you a outworld skill, as it were. You know, we're not teaching you to write a novel, we're not teaching you how to build a fence, whatever it is. This is the inner work, this is the contemplations that actually build that solid space inside where you are really centered, connected and congruent, where you are unshakable.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. You had a big party. Oh, beautiful. So I love celebrations of life. Yes, 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 yes. I think that is amazing.
Mm.
That is so, so cool. Now, Linos, just a bit further up, was asking, when we were talking about the buffalo and the bird, she said, I've got a twin flame connection associated with the white buffalo, but she's not been in communication for 3 years. So are we getting anything from there?
That looks very, it's very light.
Mm.
And what it's telling me is to speak. I'm not even sure exactly. Let me ask for clarification. It's like, speak what you want, speak your directions. It's like, it's clarifying the intent is what I'm feeling. Clarifying what you want your relationships to look like. There's relationships is, you know, loving relationships, work relationships, um, family relationships, all relationships. Be sure to really voice that. And you know what I'm really feeling is, tell people you love them.
Oh,
It's like, that's what the white buffalo is saying, is like,
yeah.
tell people you love them and tell people like what you enjoy about them.
Gorgeous. I don't know how about your feeling as you were talking about that, just this overwhelming feeling of just love for everybody, which I often get when we're in that seventh plane energy, source energy. It's like, you know, yeah, I actually do love everybody.
Yeah.
I don't have to love what they do or how they're behaving, but I can still connect with love.
Mhm.
And I'm just being shown, this is from seventh plane. Love can really move mountains. So intending with love can soften the hardest of hearts.
Yep. Yeah, that's pretty funny. It's sometimes how it is presented is a bit trippy sometimes.
Okay, so any other messages? Oh, okay, so I've just had a message come in. Now this is one of the not well-known angels. Who are you? Okay, this is a message from Archangel Jophiel, who I'm actually not sure what the archangel are they are, but I'm getting a sort of deep pink color.
Mm.
And I'm getting be with yourself.
Mhm.
Yeah, the message there is love within, then the love just pours out.
Mm.
Mm. And then I'm also receiving the message of that you are, and we know this, but you are the mirror, you are a mirror. So if there is any judgment that you're expressing or talking about another person or another thing, look within, because there is a fragment of that within you. And when you heal it within you, it will actually just dissipate and dissolve on the outside.
Mhm.
I don't know who that was a message for, but there you go.
It's like the core of the being is what matters.
Yeah.
The superficial stuff doesn't matter at all.
Mm. Okay, and Joffe is also associated with beauty. So as you brought up the superficial stuff, it's actually asking anybody who needs to hear it is to celebrate in your wisdom. So youth is often very celebrated in our human world, to the point of where people, you know, male and female, doesn't matter, will seek any way to appear youth. And yet it's the wisdom that is revealed, uncovered, remembered. That's what we gain as we get older. We don't get given the wisdom, we have it, but it does take experience to actually reveal it.
Yeah, there's two ways to get wisdom. There's the graceful way, and then there's the learn it the hard way. So
School of hard knocks.
well, hard not. You know,
I'm going for the graceful way. I'm having the graceful way.
yep,
I've done a
yep,
lot of hard knocks, I can tell you that.
yeah. And being frustrated with oneself, that really does no good. What it really does is it augurs your self-doubt. If there is any self-doubt, there's this self-deprecation or whatever it may be. All that does is make it so that that's harder to get out of. So accepting oneself for who we are, like try again. If one makes mistakes, try again. Oh well, try again. Some mistakes are big, some mistakes are small.
Yeah. And that beautiful Edison analogy, 1,000 ways not to make a light bulb.
Yes.
Not even knowing what a light bulb was. And I find that actually, that piece to be the real kicker, as it were, because there was no such thing. He just imaginated this thing that he was obviously inspired by in space, the potential of existence, and then went on and on to prove and create something that had never been. So yeah, just try again. Now I just want to, so I've noticed, just as we're speaking, such a difference in the energy and the messages that are coming through on today's channel, as opposed to the ones which we've done before, because we were just chatting before. But just having, yes, Nikola Tesla. Well, yes, Joyce. So the difference today is because we've connected like full on, first of, with the intention of being in these planes, the things that are coming through are in the speak of these planes. So fifth plane has still got duality going on. So there'll be the talk about beauty and not beauty, and old and young, and, you know, the sort of comparison-y type things. And speaking from seventh plane, it's often quite vague, very conceptual, and extremely loving and accepting, because creative all that is accepts all, is all, judges nothing, and is timeless as well. So so, you know, if you feel intrigued, I would invite you to maybe go back and ask yourself, where is this coming from? Is this coming from the fifth plane, where the angels and duality lives, or is this coming from seventh plane? And that's actually a concept that we cover in one of the theta healing classes. So you know where your messages are coming from. So when we called upon Joyce's parents, for example, that's a different energy again, because it's 4/5. So I just wanted to mention that, just, you know, because it feels very different. The channeling today feels very different than usual.
Yeah, and whatever comes through, in the classes that I teach, it's like, it's a see and say. Whatever comes through, just say it. Have no filter, no nothing. My favorite story to tell in that section is your story about broccoli.
Oh yeah, my broccoli story. I love my broccoli story.
Tell us the broccoli story.
Oh, so this actually happened to me when I took basic class. My first ever theta healing class was basic, where you're taught to just do a reading and you're not given much direction, and there's a purpose to that. And I'm sitting there in front of this lady. It's a good friend of mine. I'm sitting there in front of this lady, good friend now, I didn't know her then. And I'm trying to do a reading, and I'm saying, you know, please, can you just give me a message for this lady? And all I could see, and for those of you who don't know this about me, I'm very clairvoyant. Like I'm very visually attuned, always have been. And all I could see just in my field of vision was broccoli. Broccoli. And I'm like going, and I'm trying, you know, my mind, my practical mind was probably trying to make up some kind of story, and nothing was coming. But I hadn't got a clue. So I'm sitting there thinking, okay. And I just said to her, I'm just getting a picture of broccoli. And she actually shared with me that she hated it. She hated broccoli because when she was going through chemotherapy for leukemia, I think it was leukemia or lymphoma, one of the others, I do get mixed up, can't remember exactly. They asked her to eat lots and lots and lots of greens, and broccoli was one of those greens. So it was that reminder of it meant something to her. It meant something to her, the broccoli. But it meant nothing to me, you know, apart from that I like broccoli, but, you know, nothing to me. And it really highlights, and for her, again, it doesn't sound like it's anything big, but for her, she broke into tears because it meant that she was on the right track.
Yeah. I love broccoli, but that was hilarious.
But yeah, and I'll still sometimes get that. And I had one recently, actually, the other day. I can't recall it, but it was something really innocuous. And I just said, look, I'm getting a picture of this. And they were just like, oh my God, and they gave me a whole story that was very, very specific. It wasn't like I'm going to try and connect this to something. It was really specific and on point. And I hadn't got a clue. So yeah, say what you see, like catchphrase. You ever watch that game? So see it, say it, feel it, say it. So we're talking about the senses, you could see it, you could hear it, you could sense it, you could know it, you could even smell it. You know, so, you know, whatever sensation, whatever sense is being picked up, just say it. And yeah.
Yeah, it's very wonderful.
Yeah, Joy says, not for us, but for them. Exactly. We become, at that moment, we become like the voice piece, the mouthpiece. And I'm just going to touch on human design because Stacey knows I love this. If you are ever looking at it, and if you know about it, this is just for those of you who, you know, are interested. Your centers, your chakra centers, are considered either defined, so consistent energy, or undefined, so inconsistent energy but still have it. And if you have an open or undefined chakra center, energy center, often that becomes the mouthpiece for divine energy once you clear out all the other crap.
Right. And it's what I'm being reminded, even in my own life, is sometimes it's not up to you to share.
That's
Like,
true.
you may get something, it may not be up to you to share.
Yeah,
And
100%.
the other part of that is how they take it is on them. You know, it is like,
Yeah.
of course, we aim to say things in the best way possible, the highest and best way possible, but how it affects them is not our responsibility.
Yeah. Joyce says we aren't always the messenger. Yeah, correct. And we say it's on them when we're in this kind of space, a sort of reading space or a client practitioner space, that you hope that the practitioner is always connected to that beautiful loving energy of source. So when the messages are coming through, equally, I mean, I used to do a lot of psychic reading, I used to do a lot of tarot and that kind of thing, and obviously I'm getting information, you know, I'm getting lots of information, and sometimes the information was not to be shared, and I would get a very clear signal around that, not because of fear, not because of any other reason, but that sometimes the person on the other end needs to actually discover that journey or discover that information on their own, because of the way that that's going to happen is going to give them a lot of other openings. So the information is not to be shared. And it took me a little while to kind of gauge that. I had an amazing tarot teacher who really guided me very, very, very well in how to deliver and how to put together the story of the energies that were coming through in a way that was accurate and yet not brutal.
Yeah, and sometimes that's why in theta healing we have, okay, we're going to go up to creator and then we're going to ask your guides, your angels, for their input, and then check with creator.
Yes,
exactly. Because the angels have their own what I want to say is field of beliefs. They have their own ethos around what you're talking about. They might seem, especially if they're fifth plane, they might seem in duality, that sort of thing, or they might be, especially when dealing with passed on relatives of the fourth plane, you know, if if your relative was cantankerous or you know, very like Billy Goat kind of way, you know, they're gonna have that same sort of demeanor, and
Mm,
just know that they have their own thoughts, feelings, and perspectives that line up with how they've thought in life.
yes, yeah, and yeah, and that's where the the ascension through the planes, the beings.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Klinos is asking for some clarification. She's going through a beautiful journey of unconditional and non-judgmental love with a very difficult and complex family member who's experienced deep trauma. And she's asking for that situation. Is there a message from her dad regarding this family member? Her grief is insurmountable. And then she's just given a little extra clarification. The situation is difficult and complex, and not the family member that is experiencing deep trauma.
So the first thing that comes up for me is it's not yours. The trauma itself is not yours.
Mm.
What they've gone through is actually what I'm seeing is very traumatic, very horrific, and that is really unfortunate. And that's the holding of space is important there, but not in the way of taking it on.
Mm. Yeah, and she does say that she's going through unconditional and non-judgmental love, and she totally gets it to be by herself and learn self-love and unconditional love. So yeah, and now we can actually send healing energy. If we send it, so let me just check. So I'm actually getting to send the healing energy to the higher self of that person. Because the other thing which I got very strongly is the insurmountable grief, as you know, as difficult as it is a space that they need to go through, that they need to feel fully while being supported in space, like Stacey was saying. They do need to actually go through it and not bypass it, and actually to complete it. So this space of unconditional love that you're holding, or we can ask just Creator to hold that space for them with you, so that you do not bear that burden.
Yeah. And just have grace in the process of grieving, in the process of really moving through this
and
heavy time.
releasing the need to understand it. That's the other thing I'm getting. Sometimes the experience, the feeling is not for you to understand, it's to move through, and not go through, but move through. I'm getting very clearly. And I'm getting a very lovely little message from Creator saying, complex is created in the human mind. Complexity is created in the human mind. Unconditional love is always simple.
Yeah. And there is some resistance there somewhere of actually wanting to go through it. But it just,
it's not a pleasant one. It's not one of the more pleasant experiences, is it? No. I think most of us have been through some kind of grief, and we will never understand the level or the experience of another person's grief.
So let's just free ourselves from any comparison or any like what I'm getting is taking on to compare grief or try to relate to the grief, and just replace that with space holding. If you'd like that, say yes. In the highest and best way, of course.
Of course. That was a beautiful download. Thank you. And Klinos is a light worker, so she's used to holding space. So, yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
She's also very fun.
Yeah, she is. I know her. I've met her. So she's lovely, a joy. In fact, I will show you something. Klinos, you're gonna laugh at this. It's got private space. When Klinos came, when I first met her, she came to a class and she brought me this. Do you remember this, Klinos?
Oh, what is that?
It's raw chrysoprase. And
Hmm.
I remember, accepting the gift and putting it in my hand, and literally I have never felt such powerful energy from a crystal. And I've got some amazing crystals. Those of you who know me, you know that my collection is vast. But the energy of this one just literally vibrated my whole body physically. It was tingling for a good few minutes, which is a long time when you're just standing in front of someone. Minutes with nothing, it feels like an eon. And it's in my special drawer, my special display cabinet. Yeah, the energy is. So yeah, thank you, Klinos. I still hold it with so much love. And it glows. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So anything else, Stacey? Is anything else coming through?
She's like a tree. I like that. She's very, very much like a very grounded.
Yeah, very much of the earth, really of the earth. She makes these most beautiful wands, like with feathers and things.
Oh, nice.
Gorgeous. Yeah, she's a beautiful soul.
The trees want to help you. I think that's what it was about. The trees want to help you hold space, help you process what you're dealing with.
Okay, so is there any other beings that wish to come through for us now? Any other messages? Okay. You are so welcome, Phils. I just got from Crater. I'm like, no, that's it. That's it for today. But I do want to check in if anybody else is on here watching with us. If you have not had a reading, would like a reading, just let us know. I'm gonna just be silent. Oh, Joyce, you're so welcome. Okay. Stacey, do you have any parting words?
Anyone who knows me is like, I'm the gesture, right? Like the court gesture. I always make fun out of everything. So like a court gesture is coming in and like, don't forget the fun. The fun is important.
Yep. I need to remember that more. Although I do have a lot of fun. But I could do it even more. You can never do too much fun. Yeah. Okay, so everyone who's watching live and on replay, just going to would like to invite you to be enveloped, showered, rinsed through with unconditional love. If you'd like that, you can just say yes. Any burdens or heavy thought forms that have been weighing on your mind, allow Creator to handle those, to deal with those. Know that they are taken care of. Allow some lightness into your life today.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm just going to ask you now to just to allow your attention, your awareness back into the heart space. And in the same way as at the beginning, now allowing your energy to drop down into the soles of your feet, to the center of the earth. And bringing your energy up, bringing the earth's energy up from the center of the earth through the soles of your feet into your belly button now. And knowing that you are connected to both the heavens and the earth equally, with peace, with stability, with ease and lightness. And so it is.
So it is.
Thank you. Now, as always, if you would like to contact us, you've got both Stacey and I's details. We're contactable on Facebook and various other spaces. And if you're watching this on YouTube later on, please do connect to us through Facebook. I think that's probably our easiest connection route, because I don't always check my YouTube comments. So if you are commenting on YouTube, I may not get around to it. And yeah, we hope to see you soon. We'll probably do another one in a couple of weeks. So let's see what comes through for that.
Yep. See you soon.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, no, I don't want to do that. Hang on. I want to do, get my